Hello everyone and welcome back to the next episode of The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante. In the year 1130, we're 12 years old now, and we're hearing an important conversation. It is a spring night and Mother has just sent everyone to bed. You all pass Father's study and hear voices coming from behind the door. Grandfather is yelling, and Father is replying quietly. The elder Brante men are fighting, arguing about the place of the commoners in the city. You sneak outside to avoid Mother's attention and hide next to the open window of the study. Perhaps they'll mention you too. That low-life idiot had the gall to pay me a visit and beg me for some service. He had the insolence to ask me outright. He thought I was going to support his claim for the chairman's seat in the lesser quorum. How dare he? Father, please listen. Mayor Egmont might be low-born, but he carries a lot of clout in Magra. He owns 5 iron mines. A friend like him could be quite useful, should he become the chairman of the lesser quorum. I don't give a damn who this Egmont is, Robert. What he is, however, is low-born. His lot is humility and obedience. The likes of him can never rule anything. They're nothing but a flock of sheep that need a firm, noble hand to guide them. I wasted so many years trying to quash that quorum decree, but that accursed Cornelius Tempest did everything in his power to make the Emperor sign that pathetic screed. And now even low-lives can wield power. True power, Robert. Just the right to discuss the size of the Archduke's taxes. Nothing more. That is only the beginning. What next? Are they going to arm the low-lives now? Make them into judges? If the Empire rejects the foundations and the lots, the entire edifice will crumble. Bah! Who am I telling this to? It is already crumbling, and you, my son and heir, are a harbinger of its destruction. Father, I'm begging you. I do not wish to marry a third time. Lydia is a good wife and a dutiful mother to my children. If you'd only allow her to... I will allow them nothing, and neither Egmont nor that freeloading wench of yours. What will you want me to do next? Live by the laws of the lowborn? I can already see where this is going. I'd rather my own sword through my guts than live in a country where nobles and low-lives share the same rights. My only dream is to see the name of Brante in the Blue Book. But that dream will never come true. There will never come me venerable El Brante, and it's all because of this marriage of yours. My only hope now is to hear Stephen addressed in such a manner one day. Tell the twins, I didn't know you ruined the boy. He's about to grow up to be a true nobleman. His children will bear the name of El Brante. You have 2 more grandsons. Those spineless milksops from the common lot. They're incapable of anything. The best your middle son could do is sneak into Imperial College and get a noble by the mantle, although I have grave doubts about even that. As for the downtrodden Nathan, I hold out no hopes to him whatsoever. You hear Grandfather's heavy footsteps, the thudding of his cane, and the slamming of the door. It's time to sneak back home before you're discovered. Okay, so come back to power in Magra. The old nobility's no longer in power. We've got an overseer in power. Looks like there's going to be a bit of a power struggle coming up pretty soon. How that affects us, we'll have to see. School begins in the year 1130. We begin studying at the school of Sir Tybor and begin to master the sciences. I do want to quickly check this. Is Octave... So, I know that we had a crush last episode. I don't know if it's on Sophia or Octavia. I'm guessing it's probably on Octavia. Yeah, she's the embodiment of Arcane beauty and pride. I'm guessing it's probably her. But we'll see. Finally, the day comes when the teachers stop coming to the house. But before you can breathe a sigh of relief and put away the books, Father asks you to come to his study. You've grown, my son. It's time for you to continue your education away from home. I've chosen a deserving school for you, Sir Tybor's School for the Children of Noblemen and well-off commoners. Naturally, it is not a boarding school for nobles, so you'll study there during the day and come home in the evening. You share the news with your best friend Thomas. Sir Tybor's School, eh? Yeah, I got to ask my parents to send me there too as soon as they get the coin together. Father says his workshop has toured day and night for years to save up for my education. The school is based in an ancient estate of Arcanian design. The classrooms are tall and spacious with massive benches. The sounds of scraping quills and lectures on history and imperial law and theology echo under the vaulted ceilings. The rules are strict, the lessons tiring. Restless Thomas keeps getting distracted, and several times he gets his hand slapped with a stick for it. Every teacher demands flawless mastery of their subject. Every day Father asks you about your studies. You've already told him twice about how Magra joined the Empire, and how the Noble's Court of Honour is different from the Commoner's Civil Court in the city prefecture. But Father keeps pressing you to work even harder. When it's time to go to bed, Mother will not let you go to sleep until you recite a newly learned prayer for her. And when it's time to go to school, you promise her every day that you'll behave with great humility and stay clear of insolent behaviour of any kind, for you still live by the Commoner's lot, and that lot is hard work and suffering. Your first month in school draws to a close, and the teachers announce that there will be exams at the end of the month to determine the best and worst students in each subject. Father insists you devote all your spare time to studying law and history if you wish to follow in his footsteps. When you speak to Mother every day, you start considering theology. You still remember the revelations and divine visions that came to you in your early years. You have only one more day until the exam. You have locked yourself away in your room, and it is already getting late. Your desk is covered with handwritten notes surrounded by leather-bound books. Just looking at them makes you queasy. But you have to read through all of them again, at least for one of your subjects. There is a nagging thought in your mind. Thomas ended up in big trouble the other day. He got in a fight with several boys who lived next door. They heard about your wooden fortress and got outraged by the fortification built by commoners. They swore to dismantle it tonight. Thomas swore he would defend the fortress until the end. Perhaps you should man the books to rescue the friend in need. But then you hear your little brother Nathan knocking at the door. He stands there shyly, not saying a word. He often does that, standing still and staying speechless, until either you speak first or he runs away. But this time he actually says something. The door is locked. Are you okay, Montgomery? Is there anything I can do to help? Your head is spinning. This is the last evening before the school exam. If you fail, your family will be very disappointed. You have to refresh your memory on law or theology, either one or the other. But Thomas and your fort about to be stormed. Why today of all days? You grind your teeth in rage at the thought. But Nathan is also by the door, trying not to bother you. He wants to help you the only way he can, for reasons known only to him. Will you accept his help? Spend a moment with Nathan. Study theology, law and history, or Thomas. I would like to spend time with Thomas. I'd like to spend time with Nathan, but I think we have to go for law and history here. That's the best chance of becoming ennobled, and that might turn our grandfather in a more positive direction. I don't see another choice. You push Nathan out of the room. He cannot possibly help you prepare for the exam. Soon your eyes start to hurt from all the legal terms and chronologies and titles of imperial edicts. You repeat everything, every single line of it, until your head hurts and your vision begins to blur. When Father walks in, he chuckles in approval. You fall asleep right there, amidst the books. The morning comes, you barely have the time to wake up before you're walking to the menacing edifice of the school. Time for law. All the students sit still, glued to their benches in terror. The teacher's voice singles you out. If a commoner insults a nobleman's honour, how ought he to be dealt with according to imperial law? Bring the commoner to the prefecture, where the judge will sentence him to corporal punishment. And what if a noble takes a commoner's life by negligence or whim? The noble is fined by the provincial authorities. Supposing even yourself, you get the correct answers to these questions and the many more that follow. The next subject is the history of the blessed Archenian Empire. You masterfully recount the history of every province as they merged with the Empire, from Monia to Magra. Then you recite the names of every tempest who has ruled the Empire. You conquer every question the teacher asks you without confusing a single date. You get the highest grade in law and history, with an average grade in theology. You lay the teacher's praise to Father over dinner. He smiles, pleased with you. Well done, my son. I can see how hard you've been working. Keep at it, and you'll be amongst the Empire's greatest servants. I'm proud of you. We're working towards our nobility, and we've got good relations with our father. I imagine Thomas might not be too chuffed, though, that we left him. I really didn't see what choice we had, though. Your education continues. As you study imperial law, you come to realise that there is a certain hierarchy, even within the noble estate. It seems your father's status is not quite equal to that of the more eminent human and Arcanian gentry. You return home with this new information at your disposal. Father asks you about school after dinner, as he always does. And what is the difference between nobles of the mantle and those of the sword, Montgomery? You already have an answer ready. The latter status is hereditary, meaning that it is passed down from father to son. After the Arcanians, nobles of the sword are the most eminent humans in the Empire. They own land and estates. They fill offices of the highest ranks, and the names of their bloodlines are preserved within the Great Blue Book. The nobility of the sword can only be granted by the overseer of the province or the emperor himself. And how are such eminent people addressed? With the honorific L before their last name, you respond. Sir Augustin L. Bourne, for example. Father pats you on the shoulder, clearly pleased. And what about the Arcanians and their status? What have you learned about them? The Arcanians stand above all human gentry. They are born to all other humans, regardless of their titles. No L is required when addressing them. They need no honorifics, for the names of the ancient dynasties are known to all. Father nods somberly. Yes, we can never be their equals. Do whatever an Arcanian tells you and never defy them. Ever. And what about grandfather and me? Where do we stand as nobles? That is easy. Father and grandfather are nobles of the mantle. This title cannot be inherited, but it can be earned by any commoner as a reward for great service to the Empire in the Legion or as a civil servant. Father suddenly grows quiet and looks you in the eye intently. Yes, and someday you will earn a noble title too, son. All in due time. Sir Tybalt's school teaches children of all stripes. Nobles of the mantle and nobleborn parents can send their sons here. And every passing day the children of noblemen invent new ways to snub and bully the commoners. Most of the time the bully leading them is Diederik, the son of the secretary of the city hall and a self-important slob. The sons of a nobleman never pick on you, however. They know that your father has been a noble by the mantle. However, Diederik and his retinue soon choose Thomas as their favourite victim. Time and time again you ask your friend not to pay them any mind, but again and again Thomas grows angry and snaps at their self-satisfied mockery. It is early morning, and the students are busy flocking to the classroom for the next lesson. You wave Thomas over when you see him. He waves back at you, and then a bucket full of slop splashes all over him. Needless to say, it is the work of Diederik and his entourage. You hear his familiar creaky laughter. The tailor's son stinks. How dare he sit next to decent folk? Thomas clenches his fists. You're dead, Diederik. He throws himself at Diederik's haughty entourage like a soldier ready to wage war. He attacks them first. This is just what they expected, and they are free to retaliate. He barely makes one movement before 4 pairs of hands grab him at once. Diederik sneers and kicks your friend in the belly. Thomas gasps for air and starts coughing. You stand between them as Diederik rallies another kick. The nobleman's son cocks an eyebrow. Why do you mingle with the commoners, he says. Your father is a noble of the mantle. You ought to be friends with your own kind. Your equals, not the dirt beneath your feet. Behind him, 4 boys hold Thomas down as he struggles furiously. The other students are watching you, frozen in fear. Diederik haughtily extends a hand to you. He clearly expects you to shake it. What will you do? Oh, if we shake Diederik's hand, we might make some progress as into being a noble, but Thomas won't thank us for it. We can admonish him, but that won't do much. The children and parents who have been ennobled by the mantle still bear the commoners' lot. We can tell the teachers, but I don't think they'll care. I'm not going to change them to single combat. We're going to turn them over to teachers with the expectation they'll do absolutely nothing. You fold your arms across your chest and declare that Diederik and his followers even will pay dearly for their insolence. Their parents may be nobles, but they're not yet nobles themselves. Here at school, we are all equals. Diedrich's entourage is about to swarm you too, but the teacher of Imperial Law comes into the room just in time. Everybody immediately returns to their seats. Once the lesson is over, you tell the teacher how Diedrich and his friends have been starting fights and picking on people. They are the children of nobles, yet not nobles themselves, which means they are guilty of defying their lot and encouraging other students to do the same. The law teacher furrows his brow when he hears this. He assembles all the students and admonishes them. Any student caught in defiance of his lot will no longer be welcome at the school. The twins are watching over us all, and the school will not suffer the presence of troublemakers who defy their will. The nobleman's sons reluctantly agree. There is no good reason to risk picking on highborns when the punishment is so high. To say Diedrich is angry at you would be an understatement, but he no longer hurt you or Thomas. The bullying stops. Thomas likes us, that's good. And ingenuity as well. We are now bright. Excellent. I'd say that went pretty well without any major repercussions. That was pretty successful. Year 1131. The Silver Tree. Your theology teachers tell you more about Anisotti. It is more than just a provincial capital. It is also a sacred place blessed by the gods. It is where the twin gods' first disciples spilled their blood, and from that blood grew the sacred Silver Tree. Its enormous foliage hangs over the city. You see its branches in the sky every day, but you have never approached the trunk of the tree itself. Today you'll be taking your first trip to the Silver Tree. Your class is visiting a service in the great temple by the tree's very roots. Thanks to your theology teacher, you and other students will witness this landmark of the twins' advent up close. Everyone is excited. Soon you and the other boys enter the slums surrounding the church district of Anisotti. The roots are pulsating under your feet. They spread underground all throughout the area. Pathetic, cramped hovels and filthy streets surround the trunk of the tree. They are home to paupers, day labourers and preachers. The people of the district bow humbly to you and point you towards the temple. They seem at peace despite the abject poverty in which they live. All who live directly beneath the tree are filled with its divine grace, your teacher says. People come here to make peace with the world and their fate in it. Your class is unusually quiet. Everyone is listening to the rustling of the leaves and the underground beating of the roots. The sky above you is obscured by the tree's canopy. You find the temple of the twin gods right next to the tremendous trunk of the tree. It almost seems a part of it. There is a crowd there, pilgrims dressed in travelling clothes, paupers, beggars, common people of the city, and the occasional well-dressed noble. There are arguments amongst some people who are gathered in separate small groups. Many people are wandering around, staring upwards at the tree's branches. The tree impresses you with its might and the calm emanating from it. You are filled with a desire to sit down and think of the world, to learn something about yourself, to touch the silver-white bark and hearken to the whispering leaves. You are distracted enough to fall back from the rest of your classmates, and you notice a small path. It should take you right next to the trunk. A tall red-haired woman walks out of the crowd of pilgrims. She is wearing a worn white robe. She is no longer young, but her face is youthful and covered in freckles. Her hands clutch a book. You have never seen this lady pilgrim before, yet she looks at you almost as if she has recognised a lifelong friend. She beckons to you and says her name, Mathilde, a preacher from Astinia. What she says next shakes you to your very core. It is commendable to see a young man so keen to learn the teaching of the twins, she says. Yet you will never follow the light of truth within the walls of the temple. Inside you will find only the lies about the lots, the erring words of prophet Isatius, sanctified by the passage of centuries. Yet anyone who sets out to read the accounts of the twins' own lives know that they never so much as mention the lots. The red-haired preacher's words frighten you. They clash with everything you have heard from Mother, everything you've been taught at school. The lots are a lie. You freeze in fear. Should you argue with Matilda or ask her for more information? Or should you treat her as a madwoman and catch up with your classmates? You suddenly feel a small, warm hand grasp your own. You see a girl right next to you. She's just a little older than you, wearing a black dress, threadbare yet almost spotless. Her hair is covered by a handkerchief, with only a single golden lock showing. I beg to differ. Her brown eyes are burning with rage, her hand pulling you away from the red-haired preacher. You stare in confusion at the strange young girl, your cheeks flushed by the sudden touch. There is a bit of colour on her cheeks too, but then she starts speaking to you quickly. Jean? Jean? An acolyte of the Temple of the Silver Tree, she's a zealous adherent of the old faith and the teachings of Zastius. Don't listen to her, she's dangerous. Come to the temple with me, only there will you see the truth. You stand there surrounded by the crowd of praying pilgrims and the sound of shuffling feet, torn between the two people you have never seen before, and each of them expects you to follow her. But all the while you hear the whispering of the wind in the tree's branches. The branches reach out for you, almost as if the tree wishes to speak to you itself. Can you hear its voice? What truth will you learn inside the temple? What else does the red-haired pilgrim have to say? Get into the epiphany, which we can't. I think we're going to go speak to the tree. That way we're not angering either side. The tree is beautiful. The silver-white foliage stretches and spreads towards the sky, held aloft by a trunk so thick it would be a challenge to walk around it. The leaves rustle and whisper peacefully in the wind. The tree. It seems to speak to you. You walk away from the odd-looking preacher and the young acolyte, ignoring them as they call out to you. You walk around the temple and the crowd of people, getting closer to the tree with every step. And you extend a shaking hand and can touch the bark. It is unusually warm. You feel a pulse beneath the roots. The tree is alive. The roots are so gigantic they form large grottos, spaces of air embraced by the roots and ground. You squeeze into one of those grottos. It's unusually bright and quiet, shielded from the noise of Anazotti. Right now there is only you and the tree. You sit down and the leaves are rustling all around you. The only noise you hear is the beating pulse of life that flows through the tree, and this pulse beats in time with your own heart. You feel clarity and calmness, free of doubt and frustration. The tree speaks to you, or are they your own thoughts so strange, unfamiliar and eye-opening? These thoughts speak of soothing love and of crystal clear law, and of love and law intertwining to bring the miracle of life to you. You stop slouching and your frown becomes a light smile. Hours pass like fleeting seconds. You lose track of time until you overhear someone shouting your name. Alas, it is time to leave the grotto. The sun is setting over Anazotti now. The day was quick to pass. Your teacher frowns, ready to scold you. You mumble an explanation, say you're ready to be punished for disobedience, yet instead the teacher nods in understanding. You keep looking at the tree all the way home. Whatever happened to you today, you find it difficult to put into words. We are full of power. Still didn't actually give us any other stats though. Another school day has ended. You are making your way home, still mulling over the things you learned from your teachers. The founding of the empire, the eternal and unshakable rule of a single dynasty, the 3 estates, each with its own rights. What an odd sort of order the world has, and yet so mysterious. At least it sounds that way when your teachers talk about it. Mother is waiting for you on the porch. She smiles gently when she sees you, and yet her expression still shows great concern. Father left on a trip to several distant migrant towns a few days ago. Since then, Mother has been trying to tell you something, but she seems uncertain. Son, could you put your things away and come pray with me? You join your mother in a prayer you join your mother in a prayer to the twins. She prays with fervent sincerity, her head bowed low, reciting the words of obedience to them and their greater design in a barely audible whisper. You repeat after her just as she taught you, ever since you were a little boy. When the prayer ends, Mother sighs and turns to you. Montgomery, my son, you are 13 now. You'll be grown soon. It's time you learned about certain things that are important to our family. Difficult things. It's about your father and me. About our marriage. You gaze curiously into Mother's eyes. I'm sure you've wondered about this before. Your father is a nobleman of the mantle, so how could he marry a commoner with another man's child? But you see, Montgomery, your father, when his first wife, Amalia L. Bourne, died, it was a painful blow to him. He lost the will to live, lost all purpose. He felt like his own destiny was cut short that day as well. And then he met me. You know the troubles I had in the past. I went to the prefecture as a petitioner to ask them for help, protection, justice. When I was a young girl, I worked at a small shop that sold crockery and dishes. A nobleman took a liking to me. May his name be forever forgotten. Twins know I was humble and honoured his lot to rule, but he took me by force. Mother falls silent, summoning the courage to continue. Gloria is that nobleman's daughter. But he was outraged. How could I have the gall to burden him with a low-born progeny? He turned me out on the street with that little baby girl in my arms. Mother's voice is shaking now. You take her hand tenderly. I had no home, no honour, nowhere to go, no one to help me. When I went to the prefecture, I didn't think the judges there would help me find justice against my former master. But when Sir Robert heard my plea, his eyes met mine, and I believe that, at that very moment, the twins themselves granted him the gift of their love. Your father told me there was nothing he could do to make that detestable nobleman marry me, but he would never abandon me and baby Gloria, and if I agreed, he would take me into his home. Tears are running down Mother's cheek. And I knew it, my son. I knew how much his honour and reputation would suffer, but caring for me brought him back to life. It's like he's experienced another sacrament. He rediscovered his noble purpose, his lot to rule, and protect and care for others. But his decision to marry me, he's still paying for it today. Your father had the courage to defy your grandfather, the founder of his bloodline. If only you knew how much he had to endure, my son. If only you knew the despicable rumours we've heard about the Brantes all over Anizotti. It was only thanks to the effort of Sir Gregor that the Brante bloodline managed to hang on to what little remained of its reputation. And now the noble families have all but forgotten about that scandal, thank the twins. Mother falls silent, and she looks at you intently. Do you understand what she's telling you? My son, I'm not telling you this just to share the pain of my past. I have no reason to complain. Even Sir Gregor has accepted me through gritted teeth. But you need to understand the heavy burden our family must bear, including our scandalous marriage and Gloria's foul origin. And Gloria, she can never be a Brante. Even if the other Brantes agreed, the news would stir up the old scandal in the minds of higher society. And if that were to happen, Montgomery, they would even see your birth as illegitimate. What I told you now is something you have to know, son. You're about to enter adult life. By my lot, I must be humble. I cannot tell you how to treat your family. But may I ask you a question? Now that you know all of this, do you still see Gloria as your sister? I'm not going to distance myself from her. I'll accept her, but it doesn't mean that she's ever going to be a Brante, just because of the way things are. Filled with determination, you assure Mother that Gloria is and will always be your sister. You want Gloria to be a Brante too. You want her to be part of your family. Who cares what nobles of Anizotti say? Mother beams with quiet joy when she hears this. Oh, Montgomery, if only you knew how happy that would make me, to have our family united at last. However, the joy on her face quickly gives way to concern. but I already owe Sir Robert a debt I can never repay. He's given my daughter so much, a home, an education, his care and advice. The Brante bloodline could suffer so much from Gloria's existence. We should all just learn to accept her status as it is. Just then you hear Gloria carefully knock at the door of Mother's chambers. Mother, Montgomery, I couldn't find you. You happily greet your sister? Yes, your sister. No old secrets can ever change that. Mother gives you and Gloria a kiss on the forehead and returns to her prayers. You and your sister walk downstairs together. Mother is alone by her bedside now, thanking the twins for the quiet prayer for the Brante family they have given her. You hope they can hear her. Okay, so both Lydia and Gloria are moving towards sympathetic. That's good. Stefan, not so much, I feel. You are 13 now. Another theology lesson. Today's sermon is about the priests and why the clergy is only one of the 3 estates with the right to interpret their lots and guide the other 2 estates accordingly. Thomas sits next to you, huffing and puffing, as he firmly writes down the teacher's every word. We've heard all this from Mother many times before, so take this moment to daydream a little. Father promised to take you to the capital once your studies are complete. But the teacher suddenly casts a stern look around the lecture hall and raises his voice at one of your classmates. A boy by the name of Brian jumps out of his seat. The teacher asks him to repeat what he had just said. Brian freezes and seems to shrink. He tries to reply, but nothing comes out. The class becomes agitated. Someone is about to get punished. The teacher now looms over Brian. The boy's cheeks are flushed and his eyes are covered in tears. You all watch the teacher's iron-bound book as he raises it sharply, about to strike. Brian shrieks and raises a hand in front of him. A sudden flash. The teacher screams and buries his face in his arms. His hair is ablaze and his skin is covered in horrible burns. It's magic. Real magic, just like in the books about the Magra Rebellion. The class freezes in shock, and there is a dull thud as the iron-bound book falls to the floor. Brian's hysterical laughter rends the silence. He stands up from his bench, fire in his eyes and sparks on his fingertips. There are screams now. Students run for the door. The teacher tries to extinguish his burning hair. Brian snaps his fingers and the book of Isastius on the desk turns into pillars of flame. He laughs and raises his arms and the curtains catch fire. The screams grow louder as the fire howls. Brian's face is tense and violent. His mouth is spewing flames, and his whole body is shaking with laughter. He steps towards the door. You and Thomas glance at each other. He's going to burn the whole school down. Your friend's determination makes you brave. You run behind Brian and knock him off his feet. You both tumble to the floor, even through his clothes. His body sears your flesh. Brian screams, convulses, and grabs Thomas by the shoulders with his burning hands. Thomas howls but stays put and knocks Brian senseless with several fierce blows to the head. There are servants fussing around the room now. They put out the fire and take away the teacher. His body is covered in horrible burns. You and Thomas remain next to Brian, who is lying on the floor silent. Soon 3 men in black cloaks enter the doors of the school, each bearing an edict sealed with silver. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. You and Thomas are told to step away from the witch. They lock Brian's neck in a silver collar and take him away. One of the Inquisitors remains behind to tell the students what happened. That was magic, he explains, the ungodly power that twists the minds of the men into savage instruments of murder. Only the sacred shackles of silver can hold it at bay. Only the power of the twins can save us all from its evil grasp. The next day you are forbidden from ever mentioning Brian's name again. He is no more. That's good. Thomas likes us as well. We're doing pretty well with our relationships at the moment. A great day looms ahead. 100 years ago, Uther Tempest was anointed to rule over the Empire. Blessed by the twins themselves, the Emperor's reign continues into its 2nd century. Celebrations in honour of the Tempest dynasty are held throughout the city, and the school is closed for 2 weeks because of that. On one of these evenings, Father tells everyone that Grandfather is going to bring Stefan back home for the holiday. They say families should celebrate the day of anointment together. You could benefit from your older brother's company. With his noble education, Stefan might be able to teach you how noblemen are supposed to act. Soon, Stefan arrives. He now handles himself differently. When it comes to ordering servants around and ignoring Gloria, he is still Grandfather's double. But he's more grown up now and far less haughty to you. It's a dark winter evening. A damp, cold wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands of Magra. You and Stefan are sitting in the library, and he's telling you about Eterna, the capital of the Empire. It's so full of so many wonders. The Imperial Palace, the enormous Temple of the Twins, the Military Academy, the Imperial College. You read so much about these places, yet he has seen them firsthand. Nathan enters the library. He looks concerned. I can't find Gloria. I looked everywhere. She's not in the attic, and not in the sitting room, and not in the kitchen. I heard she wanted to sneak off into the ruins of Char Milonidus' palace. She could be lost there. You and Stefan exchange looks. Char Milonidus, the rebellious duke, the ruins of his palace are a dangerous place. Some children claim his tainted magic still lingers there, which means you absolutely have to make your way there and back again to prove you're not afraid of the long-dead witch. Your brother tells you to wait. He leaves and soon returns with his sword in its sheath. Get ready, Montgomery, we're going to rescue Gloria. She must have gone to the ruins in search of inspiration for another one of her little rhymes. The two of you instruct Nathan to tell your parents you've gone for a walk in the square. You and your elder brother head outside. You are confused by Stefan's actions. He refuses to treat Gloria like a human being. Why is he so determined to rescue her? Are you wondering why I care about Gloria all of a sudden? I can't act in any other way, can I? The law of honour compels me to protect my family. Gloria will never be a Brante, but Father still took her into our house. I must respect his seniority and defend Gloria like she's one of our own. You are a Brante too, noble or not, which means it's your duty to aid me. The ruins of the palace span an entire district. The palace was abandoned centuries ago, and its remnants are overgrown with thick underbrush. The ruined palace is empty, nothing but cold wind blowing over crumbling brickwork. Even the worst scum of the land stay clear of this place. You make your way through the ruins until you spot scattered sheets of paper covered in writing. Your sister's writing. You hear loud laughter coming from behind a dilapidated stone wall nearby. You pull yourself over to peer above it. Gloria is lying on the ground face down, twitching and sobbing. A gaggle of drunk young youths surround her, cackling and swinging their arms about. You hear their shouts. Look at the lass, sitting here rhyming words together. She thinks she's all noble. But don't worry, you low-born tart, we're going to teach you your place. One of the louts spits at Gloria as she lies there. Get away from this instant, you bastards, or I'll spill your guts. They respond with mocking laughter. Stefan draws his sword, and the street thugs recoil in fear, but they soon notice that he is only one-armed man against many. They start reaching for sticks and stones. Stay by my side, don't let them flank me. Stefan's hand shakes, but he looks ready for battle. He's outnumbered. For a moment you hesitate. Perhaps it might be better to run for the nearby district and call for guards. The young thugs are already armed with makeshift weapons. They start approaching you and Stefan cautiously. We are going to follow our brother's orders here. Because it will probably bring us close together, and we've got the confidence to be able to do it at the moment. Stefan's firm voice fills you with confidence. You follow your noble's brother's orders. It takes a moment to grab a stick, and then you're at Stefan's back, angrily swinging at the louts as they try to bring him down. One of the louts lunges at your brother with a stone, but you hit him with a stick and he falls right down at Stefan's feet. His sword flashes, the blade sinks deep into the young man's stomach. He wheezes. Blood starts pouring out onto the ground. The thugs freeze and Stefan pulls the sword out, his face an inscrutable mask, and returns to his fighting stance. You're stunned to see Stefan take another man's life so easily and effortlessly, like picking his own teeth. The thugs look like they're about to flee. There is rage and confusion on their faces. They never expected the young nobleman to use that sword. Stefan just scoffs at them. Lowborn scum, that's all you are. This is the only language you understand. Good job, brother. Gloria, get up, we're going home. Oh boy. He turns to glance at your sister, giving the enraged thugs just enough time to rush you. You get separated from Stefan, your back is against the wall now. They hit you hard, in the stomach, then the face, then the side of the head. Your mind slips away. When the darkness disperses, you find yourself in your bed. Stefan is in the armchair next to you, reading a book. He is alive, with the left arm in a sling and a black eye, but still alive. Your head is spinning, and you feel nauseous. You try your best to sit up, and Stefan looks up from his book. Don't try to get up, you lost a lot of blood. I suppose that was a few thugs too many for a single warrior, even with good backup. I'm impressed. We fought like an army, the noble orders, the commoner obeys, all according to our lots. We defended the family's honour together. You know, brother, the nobleman's lot is also a great burden that few are able to bear. It takes courage, not to fight everything you see, but to do your duty. Each and every decision a nobleman makes becomes a part of his family's legacy, flowing in the blood tide forever. I think about it often. A noble mustn't act weak, a noble mustn't suffer like people of the low-born lot. A noble must rule over them wisely. A noble must ensure they have work to do. It's not merely your own lot you have to look after, you have to ensure that 1,000 others can live by their lot as well. And there's so many matters to take care of. Honour, dignity, tradition. It's tough, but that's what it takes to be a nobleman. Do you understand what I'm talking about? There is approval in your brother's eyes, for the first time in a long while. Our family likes us, thank goodness. It was a pleasure to fight side by side, brother. Willpower went down a bit, but that's fine. We had some extra willpower to work with. Before long, the entire city hears how a gang of lowborn thugs assaulted Stefan Brante. Grandfather ensures that the brash young men are found. Some of them are taken into custody as soon as lesser death releases them. Grandfather seeks vengeance on those who hurt his favourite grandson. Prefect Alborn, a friend of your family, promises to personally oversee the trial and ensure that justice is served. Stefan and Grandfather decide to stay in Anizotti till the trial ends. Grandfather demands true death for every single assailant. You ask Father to explain something. How can a legal court sentence criminals to true death? How can worldly judgment overrule the twins' law? Your words are true, my son. Their law is second to none. Yet the twin gods have also made the empire and its ways. The court of law exists to execute the laws of heaven here in the world. Should the court of law sentence a person to death, the law high above will always enforce it, and so every execution brings true death. The commoners who assaulted Stefan, a born nobleman, have committed a grave offence. There is no doubt about that. And yet, according to the Emperor's decree, even commoners have the right to defend themselves when they are about to face true death. That means all of us will have to appear at the trial and testify before the court. Evening comes, and Gloria visits your room. She looks crestfallen and her fingers keep reaching for her long hair. You put away your schoolbooks and ask what is bothering her. The trial is tomorrow. I thought I was going to appear there too as an eyewitness. After all, this whole mess is started because of me, but Sir Robert isn't even going to mention that I was there. Can you imagine? He says it would ruin the case. Why am I always in the way? Nobody ever mentions me, no one has to listen to me, it's like I don't exist. And I thought Stefan standing up for me finally meant something. Maybe I will become part of the family. But no, everything is back to usual now. Gloria tries her best to hold back the tears. You do your best to comfort her. Father just needs to keep the family out of trouble. If Sir Robert believes that I only bring trouble, Why did he bring me into the house at all? Gloria runs away, and you return to your books, but you can't help but get lost in thought. What if they told the court you weren't there either? How would you feel then? There's a knock at the door. It is father. He closes the door behind him and sits next to you. There is an exhausted look about him. Son, you'll be testifying before the court tomorrow. Please remember what I'm about to tell you. Gloria wasn't at the ruins at all. You went there with your brother to inspect this historic site. The lowball men insulted Stefan first and then attacked him. Stefan had managed to deal with the assailants on his own by the time the guards intervened. Gloria will cast suspicion on the case. If you mention her very existence on the court, the reputation of this family will suffer. Your grandfather will never forgive me if that happens. Do not let me down. We are all counting on you. You recall the night of the fight like it was a moment ago. Gloria sprawled under the feet of those cackling thugs. Her poetry, her greatest treasure, scattered on the ground. She thinks she's all noble. Those are the words they spat down at her. But doesn't grandfather mean the same thing when he denies that she is a part of the family? But if you do what father tells you, the trial will end quickly. Those commoners will face true death for assaulting a noble. If you mention Gloria, things will get complicated and you cannot predict how the trial will end. What is more important to you? What is right or what is just? Well, I'm either going to support father or convince father to change his mind. I don't think lying is going to get us anywhere. My concern being is if I convince father to change his mind, I'm opening up more problems for myself with the other bits of the family. I know Gloria's not going to like us very much. Hang on. Family. You know, she's already fairly affectionate with us. I don't see why we can't. I think we might just have to let Gloria slip here and just support father. We'll do as we're told. If you're not in agreement, you'll follow the family's plan for the trial to the letter. A faint smile appears on father's fatigued face. Thank you, son. This is an important case to our family and for me as well. I appreciate your support. The day comes, the trial takes place in the lesser hall of the city prefecture. Sir Elborn himself presides as the judge. You're seated next to father and Stefan. You testify to the court one after another. You echo your brother's testimony to the letter. The young commoners insulted you as they were walking by the ruins. Then they assaulted you, and Stefan defended you. The lives of the 4 thugs are forfeit. Sir Elborn rises to deliver the sentence. The court of Anazotti judges you guilty of assaulting Stefan Brante, a nobleman. All 4 defendants are sentenced to true death by hanging. There is no wind, but you feel a gust sweep through the hall. The defendants turn pale. Their mothers are bawling and crying. Everybody in the court feels the dreadful power of the law, and it is stern and just. That very power has been invoked by this sentence, and by that very sentence the lives of the young 4 men are literally forfeit, for eternity. Stefan and grandfather stand in the front row. The wood creaks, the trapdoors open under the young men's feet. They dangle in the air, wheezing and reaching out for support with their feet in their final moments. Father lets out an inaudible sigh of relief. It's all over now. When Gloria comes back home the day after, she refuses to eat dinner and locks herself in her room. Before she leaves, however, you notice a scratch on her face and her hair is dishevelled. You go to her room and knock at the door, but she will not open. Then she finally replies, "She has already gone to bed and you should leave." Did you do the right thing during the trial? Almost certainly not. Your sister's being bullied, no one knows she has a family to defend her, and Gloria does not want to be defended now. Those 4 commoners saw no mercy, their lives ended for assaulting a nobleman. What did you see to prove this, and to whom? Was it worth it in the end? Yeah, Gloria's going to go down a bit. Family unity is falling, but our reputation is going up as a family. But it's only going to work if we keep together as a family as well. It's not great, to be honest. Stefan leaves soon after the trial, alone. Grandfather does not go with him. For the first time in a long while, he lingers in the house for more than a fortnight. Father says Sir Gregor is ill and needs to rest. Several months go by, and it becomes clear that Grandfather will not recover. The eldest Brante is mostly bedridden now. On some days he has trouble recognizing people. When he means to address you or Nathan, he calls you Robert, your father's name. When he does get out of bed, the house grows empty. The servants hide, Mother locks herself in her chambers. You and Nathan run outside or hide quietly in your rooms. If Grandfather sees anyone in the hallway, he begins lamenting. Oh, nobody heeds the lots any longer. Any harlot with a child can marry a nobleman these days. Children have no respect. His son betrayed him and let him down. And oh, how the Brante family has lost its honour. Again and again you hear Grandfather knocking on Mother's door, screaming that it is all her fault. He blames her for ruining his chance to find bliss in the hereafter. He blames her for dooming him to suffer at the foot of the pillar. You overhear your parents talking one night. Mother begs Father to move Sir Gregor to his old home and spare the children his decline. Father refuses her outright. It is late at night. The hot, dry winds are coming. The house is empty save for you, Nathan, Gloria, Mother and Grandfather in bed. Father has left for the capital on business. You're engrossed in the history of the Empire, snapping out of your reverie only when the clock strikes midnight. You blow out the candle and get ready for bed. You hear the shuffle of heavy feet outside your door, and you see light in the hallway. Grandfather, what could he want in the middle of the night? You peek into the hallway. Once he is past, Grandfather's figure sways as he heads for the door to Mother's chambers. He opens the door and walks in. You hear him saying something quietly. Your unease is stronger than your fear now. You sneak closer to hear his words. You foul commoner. I have to cleanse my sins. I need to save my soul. You are my greatest sin. You and what you have done to Robert and this family. I should have put a stop to this marriage. I should have stopped Robert from taking this house by your presence. Why, oh why didn't I do it? Please, Sir Brante, I beg of you. Silence, you will do my bidding. Fire will cleanse all airborne filth in this place. Fire, fire, and flame will free Robert from this disgrace. This is my son's sake, for my son's sake, for my sake. I need to eradicate this lowborn filth. The twins, they are calling for me now. I can feel it. I can feel it. I beg of you, please, have mercy. Mother begins to cry. You run into the room, unable to stare at this any longer. Grandfather's gaunt figure looms over Mother's bed, a lit oil lamp in his hand. Mother is sprawled out on the bed, crying. Please, just let me warn the children, I beg of you, Sir Brante. Your steps are loud enough to be heard. Grandfather turns to look at you. Stay out of this, Montgomery. Be useful for once. Worldly matters concern me no longer. I see only my sins now, and a sinner I am. A sinner. The twins, they forgive no one. They will judge me by the pillar. I must do something. I don't want to suffer for all eternity. Go away. Mother is crying. Grandfather still looming over the bed, driven to madness. His hand shakes as it clutches the oil lamp. His eyes shine in the dark. He truly believes that this has to be done. You are suddenly torn. What if he is right? What if that is the only way for his soul to find salvation? There is no going back now. You have but a moment to act. We can run away to rescue Nathan and Gloria, but then our mother will die. Grandfather wishes to purge his sins. He has the right to do so, even if it costs your lives. Or we can stop Grandfather. Run to Mother's side and snatch the lamp out of Grandfather's hand before he can start a fire. We've got relations with him. We've got willpower. Hopefully he's just having a bad episode. You look at Grandfather defiantly and step towards him. He stares you down with rage and throws the oil lamp down on the floor. You manage to catch it, but just barely. Several drops of hot oil hit the rug, not nearly enough to start a fire. The lamp's glass is splashing hot. It burns your hands, but you still hold on to it safely. You lowborn scum. You've ruined everything. You're every bit like your mother. You... Enraged, he takes a swing, and you squeeze your eyes shut. But he does not hit you. Instead, there is a deep exhalation. You peek in with one eye, just in time to see him collapse, all his strength fading away. His chest is heaving, his face a grimace of contempt. Another heavy exhalation. The contempt is gone. There is only fear now. Grandfather's eyes open wide, almost in surprise, and exhales. His eyes grow dim. Mother is there, whispering a prayer. She is shaking violently. You put the oil lamp gently on the bedside table and call for the servants. They carry the body away. It does not disappear. True death has found him. He will never return. You spend the rest of the night with Mother in the sitting room. She will not let go of your hand. For many, many nights afterwards, she keeps seeing Grandfather's shadow out of the corner of her eye. Father returns to Materna the morning after. He is unusually composed as he arranges for the funeral. The house becomes quiet, not the looming, heavy sort of quiet of the past few months, but the calm relief you all feel now that the crazed old man is no more. At last, Gregor Brante, the family's patriarch, has departed for the hereafter, with true death. Willpower's gone down, but ingenuity and nobility's gone up. Excellent. In the year 1132, your grandfather, Sir Gregor Brante, left this world, forever to meet the twin gods. And that is where we'll call the part, because that feels pretty important. More to come soon indeed. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.